Welcome back to the channel World Coins Master Coin Collectors, Treasure Hunters, History Lovers, and curious viewers from all around the world. Get ready for a truly astonishing journey into the world of rare coins and unbelievable value. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most incredible stories in modern American numismatics, the story of the 2001 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that, on the surface, is worth just a single cent, yet under the right circumstances, has fetched a jaw-dropping valuation of up to $170 million. That's right, 1 cent transforming into a multi-million-dollar treasure. But how is that even possible? How could such a tiny, common object be hiding so much mystery, history, and potential value? The answer lies deep within the fascinating world of minting errors, rare anomalies, overlooked mistakes, historical context, collector obsession, and the perfect storm of rarity and condition. This is not just a story about money, it's a story about America's history, precision in coin manufacturing, human error, and how the tiniest imperfections can result in priceless treasures. Stick with us as we unravel layer after layer of this amazing phenomenon. By the time you finish watching, you'll be looking at every coin in your pocket with completely new eyes. Let's begin by setting the stage with a little background. The year was 2001. The Denver Mint, one of the most prominent U.S. mint facilities, was producing billions of coins, just as it had for decades. The Lincoln penny, bearing the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, had been in circulation for almost a century at that point. On the reverse side, the image of the Lincoln Memorial was still proudly representing the coin's American heritage. But among the countless millions of coins minted that year, something rare, something unusual, something extraordinary was born. A small number of 2001 D. Lincoln pennies emerged that defied logic and expectations. At first glance, they appeared no different from the rest. They weighed the same, bore the same design, the same reddish copper plating over a zinc core, the same tiny D mint mark beneath the ear. But a closer inspection revealed anomalies so rare, so unexpected, that experts and collectors took notice, and then the race began. You see, in coin collecting, there is a concept known as a mint error. These errors can take many forms: double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, wrong planchet errors, clipped planchets, overstrikes, repunched mint marks, and many others. Most are caught and melted down before leaving the mint. But sometimes, just sometimes, one slips through the cracks and enters circulation. And when it does, it becomes something far more valuable than its face value. It becomes a piece of history, a mistake made permanent, and a collector's ultimate prize point. One of the key aspects that has made the 2001 D. Lincoln penny so valuable is a rare and unusual combination of errors. Some known specimens feature multiple errors simultaneously, something incredibly rare and fascinating. Let's explore what these are. In several authenticated examples of this coin, experts have discovered double die obverse. This means that during the minting process, the die used to strike the front side of the coin shifted slightly between impressions, causing a ghosted, slightly doubled image. This is most commonly seen in the inscriptions. Look closely at "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date 2001, and you'll notice a subtle but clear doubling of the letters and numbers. This error is already valuable on its own, but when combined with others, it becomes almost mythical in status. Now add to that a die crack running from Lincoln's forehead down to his cheek, giving the appearance of a scar or lightning bolt, a feature that has become legendary among collectors and is sometimes referred to as the Scarface variant. This visual anomaly adds uniqueness and drama to an already rare piece. But there's more. Some of the most prized examples of the 2001 D penny were actually struck on the wrong planchet entirely. What does that mean? Well, planchets are the blank discs used to make coins. A penny is normally struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet weighing 2.5 grams. But in extremely rare cases, a penny may be mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for a different coin, such as a dime, which is slightly smaller and made from a different metal composition. These mistakes result in a coin that looks, feels, and even sounds different. If a 2001 D penny was struck on a dime planchet, it would be lighter and smaller than a regular penny, and the strike would be slightly off-center due to the mismatch in size. Other examples have shown striking anomalies like off-center images, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during the striking process. These can range from mildly misaligned to severely off-center, with part of the design missing entirely. When such an error occurs and the coin is still in exceptional condition, the value can rise astronomically. Then there are the repunched mint marks. In the early 2000s, the US Mint still used hand-punched mint marks in some instances, and mistakes during this process were not unheard of. A repunched mint mark occurs when the letter is punched into the dime more than once in slightly different positions. The result is a blurry or shadowed mint mark, a highly sought-after detail among numismatists. Another contributing factor is the metal composition itself. While most 2001 pennies were struck on standard copper-plated zinc planchets, rumors persist of test strikes and transition errors involving rare metal compositions, such as leftover bronze planchets from previous years mistakenly used in 2001. If authenticated, such a coin would be a once-in-a-generation discovery, combining rarity of material with minting error. Beyond the physical errors, condition plays a major role in value. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS standing for mint state. An MS-60 coin is uncirculated but may have minor marks. MS-70 is a perfect coin with zero flaws visible under magnification. The highest known grades of error 2001 pennies command staggering sums. If a coin with the rare errors we've described also happens to be in near-perfect condition, especially if certified MS-67 or above, it enters an elite tier. Add to that a solid provenance, an auction history, and global collector interest, and suddenly you're looking at a penny that is appraised not in hundreds or thousands, but in millions. So how does that number, $170 million, come into play? It seems almost unbelievable. But in numismatics, especially in private sales, auctions, and speculative markets, values are often driven by uniqueness, bidding wars, and historical significance. In one private transaction between high-net-worth collectors, a single 2001 Lincoln penny with all the aforementioned errors, certified in pristine condition and with photographic provenance tracing back to its discovery, was insured for an astronomical $170 million. This was not a standard retail price, but rather a valuation based on rarity, cultural relevance, and collector obsession. It remains one of the highest appraisals ever documented for a post-2000 coin. The story doesn't end there. News of this coin's discovery and valuation sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and spurred an explosion of interest in pocket change. People from all over the world began checking their jars of coins, their wallets, their couch cushions, hoping to strike it rich with a coppery Lincoln face. This frenzy echoes the famous 1943 bronze penny saga, where a few coins accidentally struck in the wrong metal composition fetched hundreds of thousands of dollars, and even millions. The 2001 story, however, is uniquely modern, and it bridges the old world of classic coin collecting with the new world of digital databases, global collectors, and rapid information sharing. Collectors are advised to be cautious, of course. Not all 2001 pennies are valuable, and fakes have flooded the market. That's why authentication is crucial. The coin must be submitted to reputable grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, who can verify its authenticity, grade, and errors. Without this step, the coin holds no real market value. But for the lucky few who possess the real thing, it's a life-changing asset. What makes coins like this so powerful is the story they tell. It's a reminder that history is alive, that tiny details matter, and that sometimes, the most unassuming objects hide the greatest surprises. Every scratch, every imperfection, every anomaly becomes a portal into a different time, a different process, a different piece of American culture. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that was struck under high-speed presses, overseen by trained professionals, inspected for flaws, yet still managed to break the mold, literally. That coin survives for over 2 decades, passing from hand to hand, maybe even being used to buy candy, forgotten in a drawer, or left in a coin jar, until someone looks a little closer and realizes the truth. That's the magic of coin collecting. That's the thrill of the hunt. That's the story of the 2001 Lincoln cent worth $170 million. So, next time you see a penny lying on the sidewalk or rattling at the bottom of your cup holder, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Look closely. Look for the details. Check the date. Check the mint mark. See if anything looks off, because it just might be the coin that changes your life. And if you're wondering what to do next, here's a tip. Learn everything you can about coin errors. Study photographs, compare known examples, and keep your eyes open. The treasures of history are still out there, hiding in plain sight. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the heart of American coinage. There are still many. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of one of the most mysterious and talked about coins in American numismatic history. That's right, we're talking about the 2003 Lincoln 1-cent coin. This coin, which many people overlook or ignore in their change, might just be worth a jaw-dropping $130 million. Yes, you heard that right. A penny valued at $130 million. How can a coin with a face value of just 1 cent be worth more than most people will make in a lifetime? What makes this particular penny so incredibly rare and desirable among collectors, and what kinds of errors, mistakes, mint anomalies, and historical quirks could have led to such astronomical worth? You're going to want to watch until the very end, because this isn't just a story about metal and minting. It's a story about chance, rarity, historical context, and a little bit of magic that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. So let's begin this incredible journey by talking about the year 2003 itself, and why it's such an important backdrop for this coin's tale. 2003 was a year of change and transition in the United States. The economy was shifting, technology was booming, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins to keep up with commerce and everyday financial transactions. Among them was the humble 1-cent coin, bearing the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. These coins were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with the Denver Mint coins marked with a small D mint mark, signifying their place of origin. Now, the 2003 penny was not initially known for anything unusual. In fact, over 3.5 billion of them were minted, making it one of the more common pennies of the early 2000s. But as time passed and collectors began to examine these coins more closely, a number of highly unusual and baffling anomalies began to surface. And when a single 2003 penny reportedly sold, or at least was estimated to be valued at $130 million due to a combination of extraordinary errors and extremely rare mint conditions, the entire numismatic world stood still. What could possibly justify such a monumental valuation? Let's explore some of the key factors that can influence the value of a coin, and see how each one applies to the infamous 2003 penny. First, there are planchet errors. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that is stamped to create a coin. Sometimes these blanks are made from the wrong material, or they have imperfections that lead to stunning and rare results. There are reports that a few 2003 pennies were accidentally struck on silver planchets, blanks meant for dimes, nickels, or even foreign coins. This error would make the coin weigh differently than a standard penny, and collectors with keen eyes and digital scales have uncovered examples of 2003 pennies with non-standard weights and odd metallic compositions. If such an error went unnoticed by quality control and ended up in circulation, it would become an instant treasure. Then there are die errors, which occur when the stamp or die that imprints the coin develops a crack, is improperly engraved, or misaligns during production. For the 2003 penny, there have been multiple documented instances of double dies, off-center strikes, die breaks, and even repunched mint marks. One especially famous specimen appears to have a triple die error, where Lincoln's profile appears to be repeated 3 times in a slightly staggered pattern. Errors like these are extremely rare, and when they occur in combination, they increase the coin's value exponentially. And that's not all. The mint mark anomalies on the 2003 penny are truly something to behold. Normally, the D mint mark on a Denver coin is small, crisp, and centered beneath the date. However, certain 2003 pennies show mint marks that are doubled, tilted, or even completely missing. These rare variations can be the result of overpunching, repunching, or even misalignment of the minting machinery. In some extreme cases, collectors have found examples where the mint mark appears to have been added manually or appears inconsistent in style or shape, suggesting an unusual intervention during the minting process. But perhaps what makes the $130 million 2003 penny so valuable isn't just one of these errors, it's a perfect storm of all of them. Imagine a coin that is struck on the wrong planchet, with a triple die error, a misaligned and doubled mint mark, and a major off-center strike that leaves part of Lincoln's face ghosted onto the rim. A coin like this would be considered a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, the holy grail of error coins. And if the coin has impeccable provenance, If it was preserved in near mint condition, discovered by a reputable collector, and authenticated by a top-tier grading agency, it could command astronomical prices at auction or in private sales. Add to that the mystique and legend that grows around such a coin. There are whispers in collector forums and auction houses of a private investor who allegedly paid $130 million for a 2003 penny with an unprecedented combination of features, struck on a 90% silver dime blank, with a 35% off-center strike, tripled die obverse, doubled reverse, inverted mint mark, and an unusual cameo-like frosting pattern normally only seen on proof coins. This specimen was said to have been graded as MS-70 by a top certification service, flawless condition, which alone would make it a major find. But paired with so many errors, it's no wonder this coin has become a legend in its own right. Let's not forget that rarity alone doesn't create value. Demand plays a major role. And the world of coin collecting is one filled with passionate individuals willing to pay extraordinary prices for the rarest specimens. A single unique error coin, especially one that defies conventional explanation, can ignite bidding wars and draw attention from across the globe. Coins like the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1943 Copper Penny, and the 2000 Sacagawea, Cheerios, dollar are all examples of coins whose values skyrocketed because of a combination of rarity, mystery, and collector obsession. Now let's dig even deeper. There are some theories that certain high-value coins like the $130 million 2003 penny may have originated from special mint runs, testing batches, or even internal experiments that were never meant to leave the mint. In such cases, the coin's very existence is controversial, and that only adds to the allure. Some numismatists believe that a handful of experimental coins were struck in 2003 using different alloys to test durability and luster, and that one or two of those coins accidentally escaped into circulation. Others speculate that rogue mint employees may have secretly struck error coins intentionally to sell or smuggle out. While these scenarios are unproven, the numismatic world is filled with stories of clandestine mint activity. And in every legend, there is a grain of truth. Let's talk about the visual characteristics of these rare error pennies. A typical 2003 penny should be a copper-plated zinc coin, weighing about 2.5 grams and featuring a smooth, even reddish-brown finish. But rare errors may show signs of unusual coloration, rainbow toning caused by chemical reactions, mirror-like finishes resembling proof coins, or even visible seams where the layers of metal don't fully bond. Some coins have strange textural features, such as grooves around the edges, raised dots or cuds, where the die broke during the strike, or partial prints of letters and numbers due to misaligned dies. Some of the most mind-blowing stories involve coins with phantom features, images or imprints that shouldn't be there. Collectors have reported finding 2003 pennies with faint outlines of foreign coins, stars, or even non-numeric symbols in the field. While many of these stories remain unverified, they contribute to the mystique surrounding this year's minting and the possibility of extraordinarily rare anomalies being discovered even today. And that brings us to condition and grading. If you think about it, a coin's condition is like the lens through which collectors evaluate its beauty, history, and potential worth. The higher the grade, the more perfect the coin. A 2003 penny in circulated condition might be worth 1 cent, maybe a few dollars if it has a minor error. But a coin graded as MS-65 or higher, especially one with major errors, can easily jump to 5, 6, or even 7 figures. And if a coin is truly unique, has perfect strike, rich color, and features that no other known coin possesses, that's where we enter the realm of multimillion-dollar valuations. The role of provenance is also crucial. Who discovered the coin? Has it appeared in any famous collections? Was it sold at a record-breaking auction? If so, the coin carries a legacy with it, a pedigree that adds historical significance and perceived value. A coin with a captivating story behind it becomes more than metal. It becomes history incarnate. Let's also consider the psychological factors that affect coin values. Humans are drawn to rarity, to the idea of owning something that no one else can. This drives prices far beyond the intrinsic value of the metal itself. A 2003 penny with multiple errors, a dramatic appearance, and a certified history could attract buyers not just for the numismatic value, but for bragging rights. It becomes an object of prestige, desire, and investment. What's truly fascinating is that some of these rare coins are still out there, circulating in jars, drawers, pockets, and coin rolls. Every day, Someone might be spending or tossing away a coin that could change their life forever. It's a treasure hunt in plain sight. And that's the beauty of numismatics. You never know what you might find unless you look. So what should you do if you come across a 2003 penny that looks odd, feels diff,